Here in Washington, Congress arrives at a do or do nothing challenge. Senators are again negotiating over what, if anything, they can legislate about guns, how Americans buy them, or how law enforcement can take them out of the hands of dangerous individuals. Let's get straight up to Capitol Hill and our chief correspondent, Manu Raju. Manu, many of those involved say this is a critical week. Why and where are we?
Yeah, this is the critical week because the Democrats are saying a deal must be close by the end of this week, or they'll simply say that there's simply going to be not enough Republican support in order to overcome a GOP-led filibuster, meaning at least 10 Republicans are needed to join with 50 Democrats on a deal that they've been discussing over the last several days. Among the key contours of the deal is how to deal with state red flag laws, allowing states to take away guns from individuals deemed a risk, as well as a handful of other issues. And I just caught up with West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, who is a part of these bipartisan talks. And he told me any deal must include those provisions to bolster state red flag laws. And he also called to raise the minimum age to purchase semi-automatic rifles from 18 to 21, even as a number of Republicans object to that idea.
We know we can do something that would have prevented this, raising the age, making sure that the age at least gives us a chance to work with that person, see and evaluate and have a little maturity to them. And the second thing is that we know that the red flag laws do work as long as there's due process.
So you think raising the age from 18 to 21 for all gun purchases?
Well, it's where it is, everything except for rifles and long guns right now, or if it's just for these high capacity weapons. Whatever they want to do, I'm open to doing something that makes sense.
Why do you think people even need an AR-15? Do people need one?
I mean, you have to ask the people that do. I never thought I had a need for that type of a high capacity automatic weapon. And I like to shoot. I like to go out and hunt. I like to go out sports shooting. I do all of that. But I've never felt I needed something of that magnitude.
Now, Manchin also told me that he is open to the idea of banning assault weapons, AR-15 style weapons. He said he wanted to see the proposal before actually supporting it. Now, that idea of an assault weapons ban will not be part of any final deal because of Republican resistance. So, John, the big question is, what can they agree to? Can they agree to state red flag laws? Can they agree to increasing the mental health programs here in the United States? Can they expand background checks in some way? All big questions, but I'm told, John, raising the age from 18 to 21 is still an idea that is encountering stiff GOP resistance. So getting that into the final package will be difficult despite Manchin's support. John.
Several conversations in the days ahead. Manu, as you report, and the rest of our team reports on the Hill. Manu Raju on Capitol Hill. Thank you. With me in studio to share their reporting and their insights, CNN's Melanie Zanona, Jackie Kucinich of the Daily Beast, and Cleve Woodson of the Washington Post. So let's start with you and the Hill dynamics, because that's your beat. But first, I want to get out. This is one of these weeks where everybody in Washington is going to talk. The question is, will they listen to listen to America, including the mayor of Chattanooga, one of the mayors, large cities, small cities, medium cities, saying, please, Washington, do something.
I'm hopeful, actually, that Congress can come together this week to pass some common sense legislation, and clearly that's what we need more of at the federal level.
If they can't, what is at stake for cities like yours?
Well, as I said, it's going to be a long, hot summer.
The question really comes down to how many Republicans in the Senate can you get to agree to what?
Exactly. And the question is, what will Republicans accept? Democrats have made clear they're willing to accept far less than what their dream package would be in the name of a deal. But Republicans are making clear that it's not going to be something that can be strewed as new gun laws or new restrictions on gun laws. It's going to have to be something that's more along the lines of enforcing the system that already exists. And you've seen Mitch McConnell talk about the fact that it needs to be a focus on mental health and on school safety. So it's going to be something really small ball, which is important to keep in mind. We're not talking about things like raising the purchasing age or banning assault weapons ban. So the question is, if they can get something done, is it meaningful? Does it make a difference?
And you mentioned Democrats. So Senator Chris Murphy has been a leader among Democrats on this issue for years. Obviously, his state of Connecticut had Newtown. And he would like to ban assault weapons. He would like to raise the age. He would like to have gun restrictions. But to your point, he has said, I'm willing to compromise here because we have to do something. We have to prove to the American people that we see what I just went through the numbers again. Every day, there are more of them. Senator Murphy says he hopes Republicans will compromise for the nation's kids.
I think Republicans realize how scared parents and kids are across this country. I think they realize that this kind cannot be nothing. I'm more confident than ever that we're going to get there, but I'm also more anxious about failure this time around.
He knows the history.
And he knows how hard it is to get to 60. I mean, the last time Manchin and Senator Toomey had their background check bill going through, for example, they had to put language in it saying there wasn't going to be a gun registry. It's not going to happen. And yet, you still had, particularly guns rights activists out there saying that it was going to lead to a gun registry. So they're also going to be battling quite a bit of misinformation and spin on this from the other side as they try to push this through, which might weed away some of these Republicans who might even be on the fence. Because look what happened in the House. You had Chris Jacobs, a freshman Republican from New York, who came out for assault weapons ban and for limits on high-capacity magazines. And what, a week or two later, he decided not to run for re-election because, in part, of the backlash.
The backlash. And so one of the questions is, where's the president on this? He had a primetime speech to the nation last week. He's spending several days on the West Coast this week for an international summit, so I get that part. But it was interesting on Friday, I believe it was Friday, he said his staff is involved in this. Are we going to see and hear from the president? If this is the key week up on Capitol Hill for bipartisan infrastructure, he brought them down to the office repeatedly, brought the Republicans in repeatedly. Are we going to see that, or is this hands off?
You know, one of the things you've seen Biden say repeatedly also is that he is trying not so much to be senator president, right? He's trying to not be as involved in the day-to-day. There's reporting that he is, you know, attuned to it, that his legislative affairs staff folks are giving him updates and information, but that he's trying not to delve as much into it as he has on infrastructure or things in the past. In part, I think that's because it immediately elevates it to just sort of hot button Democrat versus Republican issue. And it's a question of whether it will help or harm.
Well, it'd be interesting to watch in the week ahead. You mentioned Democrat versus Republican. So the key fight now is, can you get 10 Republicans in the Senate? And where can you get? Can you get to 10 on what? So everyone expects it to be pretty modest. But I want you to listen here. This is the number 2 Republican in the House who, listen to here, he immediately goes into the political corner on this. Listen closely. Steve Scalise.
It immediately becomes about Democrats wanting to take away guns. Let's go search for the root of the problem. How can we do a better job of connecting the dots and stopping something before it happens, like we did after September 11th, which has worked really well as it relates to stopping terrorist attacks.
Sounds great, right? So here's my question for Congressman Scalise. The FBI the government did change a lot after 9/11. We created the Department of Homeland Security. Does he want to create the Department of Gun Safety? The FBI took 2,000 agents, retest them to counterterrorism. They shoe leather and electronic surveillance of terrorists. Does he want us to have FBI agents outside of every gun store? They say these things, but I don't think they think them through. But if the government is to react to gun violence like it did to 9/11, would Republicans support any of that?
Right. You know, on the Senate side, the one to watch here is John Cornyn. He's the lead Republican negotiator in all of this. He represents the state where the Uvalde school shooting occurred. He's tried to get a deal on background checks before, but he also wants to be GOP leader one day. And so he's not going to go out on a limb and support something and sign off on something that doesn't have the support of the wider Republican conference. So I know we're talking about 10 being the magic number, but realistically, it's going to have more support than that to actually get a deal.
I mean, I don't know that there are many supporters for the current ATF nominee that's going through. So, I mean, and that's an established agency that has infrequently has had a head. So, I mean, that in of itself kind of shows you exactly how much support there would be for Republicans having a agency that goes after guns.
Well, let's see if this is the big week. Let's see if they can get something. It'll probably disappoint a lot of people. If they can get something to a building block, something else, we shall see.